Alright, so in this video we're going to be still focusing on additive linear function relationships, but we're going to be actually graphing them to see what they look like on the coordinate grid. So when you're asked to just graph one of these functions, we have to, and then determine the y-intercept, we want to just plot all the points that they give us, look and see where the graph crosses the y-axis, and then that way we can determine what the y-intercept is and figure out what the equation is. So we have the point -1, -3. It's right here, and then we have 0, -2, 1, -1, and 3, 1. So those are all the points that they give us. And then what you want to do is take your ruler and connect those points to show what that line looks like. So you can carefully pick up your ruler, connect your points, and then that way we can figure out what's our slope and what's our y-intercept of this line. So now we can look and see that we do have this slope of rising 1 and running 1. So our slope here is 1. And then our y-intercept is right here on this point, 0, 2. And that's 0, -2. That's our y-intercept because it's crossing the y-axis and our blue line is crossing over it. So it's where our line and the y-axis meet. So that y-intercept right there is 0, -2. So that means the b value that we want is -2. So we want to write down in our answer box that the y-intercept is the point 0, -2. And then our equation is y equals x minus 2. That means if I plug in an x value from our table, like if I plug in 0, 0 minus 2 is -2. I can plug in 1. 1 minus 2 is -1. 3, 3 minus 2 is 1. So all of those are working for that rule that we got from our graph. Now sometimes we'll do the opposite and they'll give you the graph right away. You don't even have to graph it, but you will have to identify what the equation is. So you want to look for, first of all, what is the slope? So we can see here that our slope is, this one is going up 2 and over 2. So the slope here is 2 over 2, or just 1. But then our y-intercept, our b value, is right here where our graph is crossing the y-axis. So it's crossing at -4. So the y-intercept is this point 0, -4. But that means that we are going to fill in our equation. Our m value is 1, so we can just write x instead of 1x. And since our y-intercept is -4, we can just say -4. So then you can test it out. Pick a point that's on your line. Like we have 2, -2 here. If I plug in y equals 2 minus 4 for that x value that I just picked was 2, then y should equal -2. My x value is 2, my y value is -2, so that one does work for that rule that we just created. So if you want to try these on your own, feel free to pause and then press play when you're ready, or just keep watching. So in this graph, our line is crossing through the point 0, 4. So that means our y-intercept is 0, 4, and that b value is just 4. If you want to check the slope, we're going up 4 and over 4, so 4 over 4, we get a slope of 1. So that means that our graph will be y equals x plus 4. Our slope is 1, our y-intercept is +4. And do the same thing over here. So our y-intercept on this graph, it's crossing the y-axis at 0, -2. So the y-intercept is 0, -2. The slope here looks like we are going up 1 over 1. So that means our slope is 1 over 1, or just 1. Our b value was -2. So to build our equation, y equals x minus 2. So in the last part here, sometimes you'll be asked to graph the line just given one point and the y-intercept. But as long as you have 2 points, you're able to draw a line on the graph to connect the 2 dots. So this problem tells us to graph the line that has a y-intercept of 3 and it passes through the point -2, 1. So the y-intercept of 3, go on your y-axis and go to the point that has +3. So we know that that's really just the point 0, 3. And then we just need to plot the second point that they give us, which is negative 2, 1. Now that we have those 2 points plotted, all we have to do is connect the dots here. So you want to use your ruler to connect those dots nicely. I'm going to use my line tool here, and you can check your graph with mine once you've drawn it. So now that we have our line, we can see our nice graph here. And you can figure out what the rule is from this. We can tell that our slope is just going up 1 over 1, so our slope is 1. We already knew what our y-intercept was. It was at 3, so our rule for this line would be y equals x plus 3. In our final example, we're going to do the same thing. If you want to try it on your own, feel free to pause the video. This one tells us that our y-intercept is 0, negative 2. So that's our first point that we want to plot. And then they give us the point 4, 2. So again, now that you have 2 points, you can easily just connect the 2 by using a ruler and create your line on the graph there. Once we've done that, that lets us check our slope. So our slope looks like it's up 1 over 1. So the slope is 1. So we can write y equals x, and then we're going to write minus 2 here because our y-intercept was negative 2.